So sadly, no Halloween costume. I did think I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mask somewhere that I was going to put on that came with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Out of the Shadows Blu-ray, but I can't find it. So instead you get Man Like Doris hoodie and Star Wars hat. Happy Halloween. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Ian McQuaid, and today we're talking about AEW Fright Night Dynamite, the big spooky edition of AEW Dynamite, and what a show it was. This was packed to the goddamn brim, this special episode of Dynamite, and you know what? It was all the better for it, because I think this is one of the best episodes of AEW that I can remember. I think AEW has been on a particular hot streak in terms of this Jon Moxley storyline. I'm vibing with it quite well. I know it's a bit polarizing, but I'm really enjoying where it's going. And I feel like these episodes have been really, really well paced, really well structured. They just fly by at a breeze. And this one had some big moments on it. Spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen the episode yet. Go check out the episode because it is awesome. But yes, spoiler alert, the debut of Bobby Lashley, Private Party, winning the tag team titles. There was a lot of stuff on this show, and I'm going to go through every match, every angle, everything that happened, the way a review works. But first, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on Fright Night Dynamite. Let me know your favourite match, your angle, and we'll all talk about that in a nice way in the comments. Let's dive straight into this. So there was an awesome opening video package that was really, really cool, set up all the big matches. It felt like a pay-per-view. Then the obligatory Blackpool Combat Club, Death Riders. I think we might be calling them the Death Riders soon. They have their video package, which is cut off by Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy makes his way to the ring with a mic in hand and cuts a really un-Orange Cassidy promo. He cuts a promo in the middle of the ring saying about how he's going to defend AEW, how the young guys, they don't know what it means. He's not a leader, but he will challenge Jon Moxley at Full Gear. And he does not have a catchphrase. I thought this was really, really good. Really good stuff from Orange Cassidy. I like that he is the reluctant hero here. I think Orange Cassidy is really well suited for this role. And I think the match between him and Mox at Full Gear is going to be exceptional, because their all-out match was also exceptional for the international title. So I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome match. I think it's a really well-built feud, and we're going to get into more of that later. But as an opening promo, an opening angle, him cutting off the video package and walking down to the ring, I thought it was really, really well done. Then we had Camille and Mercedes Moné arriving backstage, and Camille silent, Mercedes does all the talking to Renee. I like Mercedes Moné as a wrestler. I'm not 100% sure the promo delivery for me is a bit grating. I'm not sure if that's the point necessarily, but the way she was delivering this was a bit like, he's a little bit cringe at times. I kind of want to see a more serious CEO, because she doesn't come across as serious. She comes across as a really goofy cartoon character, and maybe that's what she's going for, but for me, didn't really vibe with me, and they were ready for their match with Chris Statlander. And then we got the first match of the show, which was Adam Cole taking on Buddy Matthews. I thought this was an exceptional match. I thought this was so good. This played off the tropes that have been laid out by Bryan Danielson in his entire AEW run, and that is play off real life injuries. And this was all built around the shattered ankle of Adam Cole. There was some, really cool spots. Him jumping off the apron, thinking he's twinged it. Him going for a super kick and then sort of feeling uncertain of himself. There was some nice ways that this was played up, and it led into a big sort of middle of the match angle when it looks like Cole's being taken to the back, and Matthews sort of calls him out. He's like, "You're fragile, you're weak." And that brings Cole back into the ring, and they have an explosive final sequence. Super kicks galore, big knee strikes galore. It was a really, really excellent match. I love seeing Buddy Matthews wrestle. He's incredible. And I love seeing Adam Cole back. Adam Cole got the win with 2 Panama Sunrises, 1 in the ring and 1 to the floor. And then boom, to the back of the head for the 1, 2, 3. He gets up, has a handshake with Buddy Matthews, and the lights go out. Lights come back on. Malachi Black is standing shaking Adam Cole's hand. I thought this was such a cool visual. This was so well executed and got me so hyped for Malachi Black versus Adam Cole, because that's going to just be awesome. Their NXT match, one of my favourites. I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm loving Adam Cole and the House of Black. I think it's just cool. It's just matchups that I didn't think we'd get, and I presume he's going to work his way through. His final match will probably be against Brody King before he can get to MJF. But yeah, no problems with this whatsoever. Then it became promo time in AEW, because we got a lot of promos, and I'm going to run through them very quickly. We had Private Party backstage with Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels says how he tried to win the AEW tag titles with Frankie Kazarian, and he doesn't really feel like Private Party should be putting their tag team career on the line. And yeah, this was fine. Did exactly what it needed to do. Then we had an Adam Cole backstage promo where he cut promo on MJF with the Undisputed Kingdom behind him. This was also pretty fine. Didn't really add that much. Then we had Kyle Fletcher come out with Don Callis, and he calls out Will Ospreay. He says, "Come on out, Will." Will doesn't come out, but who does come out but Mark Davis of United Empire? He comes out and he has a promo off with Kyle Fletcher on the ramp, talking about how, we had an empire. We didn't need a family because we had an empire. And this really sets up potential of United Empire versus the Don Callis family, which I am all for. Having Mark Davis, Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Great O'Khan, for instance, versus Takeshita, Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Kyle Fletcher. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. So yeah, United Empire versus Don Callis family, with Kyle Fletcher leading the Don Callis family and sort of usurping Takeshita. I think there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on there. The dynamic between Fletcher and Mark Davis and Aussie Open. That could also be really, really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff here to play with, and I'm really into this feud, actually. Then we got an incredible backstage promo from Hangman Page talking about his match with Jay White at Full Gear, in which he threatened to burn his house down. And yes, I love this feud. I love their match at Wrestle Dream. I think it was arguably maybe the best match of the night. It was goddamn fantastic. And yeah, I'm really intrigued to see their match at Full Gear, see what nuances they add to this. But Hangman is just deranged at this point. So yeah, this is the chef's kiss for anything that Hangman Page does. Then we got the BCC coming down. They arrived at the arena. They come down, and Moxley cuts one of his cryptic promos. Again, he's doing that thing where he kind of hints that there's something higher going on. He says, "You guys don't understand yet." So something's clearly at play. I kind of want to know what the end game of all this is. And they have a ruse. He sort of whispers to Claudio to do something, and Pac grabs Wheeler Yuta. Claudio runs and gets a chair. They put a chair on the neck of Wheeler Yuta. It looks like they're going to Pillmanize Wheeler Yuta, but who should come down but Orange Cassidy? Orange Cassidy comes down to make the save, and then they all just pile on Cassidy. They just beat him to within an inch of his life, and then all the other babyfaces come down. We have Dark Order, we have Top Flight, and who should abseil in? Who should drop down from the rafters like his father? Darby Allin comes down. Seemingly puts himself through the announcer's table with help of Claudio Castagnoli, and he helps chase off the BCC. I thought this was so cool, because you had Private Party run down as well, and then as the BCC are getting away, the Young Bucks music hits, and Private Party are in the ring like, "Oh, you're doing this now? We're doing this now." Young Bucks come out, and then we have the tag team title match. I really liked how these segments sort of flowed in together, and how the Young Bucks waited until the BCC had gone. I love it. I think it's so good. And then we had the tag title match. We had Private Party versus the Young Bucks in what was a pay-per-view match on TV. I think this was probably better than their match at Wrestle Dream, only because this had the sort of, not necessarily the stakes, but I think this had a lot of good build to it. And the way the match was structured was really, really good in that they could just not put Isaiah Cassidy away. They hit him with everything under the sun, and he kept kicking out. You had a ring bell shot to the head. You had a Carter coming down and hitting a pile driver on Mark Quinn on the ramp, which let them just destroy Isaiah Cassidy in the ring. You had Young Bucks hitting their own gin and juice on Private Party. Like, Young Bucks allowed a lot of stuff in this match. Like, it was so unbelievably well structured to make Private Party look amazing. And then when Private Party eventually get the win by hitting the gin and juice, it was euphoria, because the entire place just erupted. Everywhere went mental, because I think they built to it so well with the constant kickouts. Like, it was really well done to get the crowd to that level of heat, because you could tell they were like, and this is where the Bucks win. But then Private Party would kick out. I think it was so well structured. I think it's one of the best TV matches of the year. And I want to give props to the Young Bucks, because they are one of the best tag teams on the planet. And this just showed it. I think this was an absolutely exceptional match. Private Party celebrate at the end. The Young Bucks seemingly potentially turning face, hand the belts to Private Party, put them on their shoulder, and there we have it. An awesome run. I can't wait to see where this goes from here. Then we got a lot more backstage promos and a lot more stuff to go through, starting with Jamie Hayter and Penelope Ford promo. I'm really excited for this match. I think it's done really. The build's been good enough for this. I think Jamie Hayter looking like Daphne was really, really cool. At least she got the memo that it was Halloween and spooky season. But they had a nice promo together. There was nothing really to write home about it. Then we had Chris Jericho cutting a promo about how he's going to elevate ROH. I will believe it when I see it. When that TV deal comes in because of Chris Jericho, I will believe it. Until then, I do not care. So we will move on from that. Anna Jay cut a really nice promo. She's going into a match with Mariah May on Collision. I think that's going to be an absolute belter of a match. I think it's actually going to be really, really good, because Anna Jay is just fantastic. She's come on leaps and bounds, which they put on in this promo, and I think her stuff that she did in Japan only helped that. I think this match is going to absolutely kill. And then we got Daniel Garcia just slamming Jack Perry up against the wall and like screaming at him, why aren't you doing anything? Like, what's going on? And Jack had a really nice line for, yeah, they used to dance for me too. I think that was a really cool line to say to Daniel Garcia, and it made sort of Jack Perry just look like a prick. Then Jack Perry goes to the Elite's locker room and they're packing up all their stuff. Looks like they're hightailing out of here, which we'll get to in a little moment, because we have Camille versus Statlander to talk about. Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander's new entrance is pretty cool. It's like the Aha Take On Me video. This was fine. Like, I don't think this was like amazing. I think it furthered the feud well enough that we are going to get Mercedes versus Statlander at one point. But yeah, I didn't think this was... It didn't necessarily do it for me. I think both are really, really good, but it didn't maintain my interest as much as I hoped it would. I think it's maybe because the story, the sort of face turn from Chris Statlander was so abrupt and so out of nowhere, particularly following on from the Willow feud, that it's a bit weird and a bit difficult to get on board with. They had a fine wrestling match, and Mercedes stood tall at the end by beating down Chris Statlander. But I feel like Mercedes is missing those killer angles. I feel like her feuds don't have those insane moments that you remember. It's all pretty standard stuff, and I want to see it get elevated a little bit and have like either a really brutal beatdown or something along those lines. I just want it to get up that into that second gear. Then we had a promo from the Patriarchy, who are seemingly confronting Hook on next week's Dynamite about Taz. Then we had the Young Bucks making a swift exit. They slam all their stuff in their car, they drive away, and the BCC brutalise Brandon Cutler. They hammer his hand, as you will. And when I say hammer his hand, they hold Christopher Daniels hostage as Claudio and Pac use a hammer to hit the hand of Brandon Cutler. Exactly what it says on the tin. Cool angle, this was quite nice. And then we got the match. We got the main event, which was Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve Strickland. This has been built up for 2 weeks with the arrival of the Hurt Syndicate, and this was really, really good. This was really, really good. It was nice to see Swerve Strickland back. Shelton's been on a tear, and they put in the work. This was mainly Shelton Benjamin sort of destroying Swerve Strickland in the opening bits of it, then Swerve making his comeback, hitting really cool kicks. Like, he did this really cool sort of handspring capoeira kick to Shelton Benjamin at one point. He did a really nice running, almost front face stomp, which he does quite often, but it looked particularly brutal here, which led to him eventually getting the win with a Swerve stomp and pinning Shelton Benjamin. I think that's the right decision, because what happens next? Shelton Benjamin takes the L. I don't think he looked bad in defeat at all. I think he put up a really, really good fight. He's facing a former AEW World Champion, for crying out loud. And MVP makes a call. Gets on his phone, he's speaking to someone. Lights blink. Swerve's like, oh, what's going on here? Bobby Lashley's music hits. The Almighty is here. He comes down looking dapper AF in his suit. He looks so cool in his suits. Comes down. It looks like Shelton's going to sort of distract Swerve, and then Swerve just gets clocked with this clothesline. Absolutely destroyed, which leads to a beatdown. MVP's got Nana, he's holding him with his cane, and Bobby Lashley has the Hurt Lock in as Shelton Benjamin sort of beats down Nana. This was a really cool angle, and then you have MVP cut a brief promo at the end as all of them stand tall after laying waste to a sea of security personnel. I think it was fantastic. It was a fantastic angle, an awesome way to close the show, and I have nothing but high praises. Nothing but high praises about this. I think overall this show was a real sort of like, not necessarily a rival. I don't know how, this is like a flag on the moon. Like, this is okay. This is what AEW is now. And I think that's what was needed, because I just genuinely thought it was really good. It went by at such a brisk pace. There were a few bits I didn't like. Jericho, Mercedes Moné's stories. Like, there's a few bits that I'm not too keen of, but I think overall as an episode of wrestling television, I think this is one of AEW's best of the year, and I give it like 4.5 out of 5. I had such unbelievably fun time watching Fright Night Dynamite, and I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Were you a fan? Were you not? Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.